$14 trillion naira. Let that number sink in for a moment. It's more than the combined budgets of several African nations. It's more than enough to rebuild every major road, revamp all public hospitals, and still have billions left to transform Nigeria's power sector. Yet, according to the latest Punch report, that's the staggering amount the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, says. Nigeria's 36 governors and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, have collectively received from the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAAC, as fuel subsidy savings since the subsidy removal in mid-2023. And the problem here is, no one seems to know exactly where that money went or what it achieved. And now, SERAP is demanding answers. In an official statement signed by its Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, SERAP did not mince words. The organization called on all state governors and the FCT Minister to urgently disclose how the 14 trillion naira was spent, including details, project locations, implementation reports, and planned future spending. SERAP also advised that the governors should invite anti-graft agencies like ICPC and EFCC to track and monitor the use of these funds, a move intended to prevent the money from disappearing into private pockets. The legal tone of the request was unmistakable. SERAP has already filed Freedom of Information requests to compel transparency and hinted that legal action could follow if the details remain hidden. But behind the legal jargon lies a much deeper question. How can Nigerians still be suffering from poor infrastructure, failing schools, and collapsing hospitals when the states are receiving historic allocations from Abuja?
Na asibitit bin haushi abin takaici irin yadda ake cewa ana ware mabudan kudade da sunan taimaka ma sha'anin kiwo.
Federal roads of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu announced the removal of fuel subsidies in May 2023, it triggered both chaos and promise.
Glimpse before I ask him of me, and what I've heard is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone. Subsidy can no longer justify an ever increasing cost in the wake of dry resources.
On one hand, the decision skyrocketed the cost of living. Petrol prices tripled overnight, transport costs soared, and inflation reached record highs. But on the other hand, the government promised that the savings from subsidy removal would be reinvested into critical infrastructure, education, and health through state allocations. That was the deal, right? The paying of subsidy removal was supposed to buy progress. Yet, more than a year later, millions of Nigerians say they have seen little to no improvement. Instead, state capitals remain riddled with potholes, public hospitals lack basic equipment, and schools still operate under leaking roofs. So, where did the money go? SERAP's concern is not abstract, it's a cry for accountability. At the center of this unfolding story stands Mr. Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers State and now the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Wike's name has rarely been far from controversy, known for his bulldozer-style politics and loud governance personnel. He has also faced numerous allegations of corruption and mismanagement, many of which have been amplified by investigative platform Sahara Reporters and its publisher Omoyele Sowore. From alleged diversion of public funds in Rivers State to reports of questionable land allocations in Abuja, Wike has consistently dismissed such claims as politically motivated attacks. But the accusations persist, and so does public curiosity. Sowore, in multiple exposes, has accused Wike of governing with impunity, alleging misuse of billions in Rivers' internally generated revenue and land deals that benefited political allies. Wike, as expected, denies wrongdoing, often daring his accusers to produce evidence. Now, with SERAP's new demand, the FCT Minister once again finds himself in a position of scrutiny, not for old allegations, but for how much of the subsidy windfall was actually used to transform Abuja's public infrastructure. And Nigerians are asking, if Wike could build massive flyovers in Port Harcourt, where are Abuja's own subsidy-funded miracles? SERAP's demand is not a criminal accusation yet. It's a call for transparency, a push for clarity in a system long accustomed to opacity. But Nigerians have seen this movie before. Over the years, countless audits, panels and committees have been set up to track public spending. Most end quietly, buried under bureaucracy, political immunity, or sheer public fatigue. This time, though, SERAP's approach is different. It's leveraging freedom of information laws, forcing governors and ministers to legally respond or risk being dragged to court. Still, many Nigerians are skeptical. Even if the details are disclosed, will it matter? According to SERAP, many states have continued to receive record high FAAC allocations since the subsidy removal, yet there is no visible evidence of corresponding development. Reports from across the country show states still unable to pay salaries or maintain basic healthcare facilities. In some areas, classrooms have collapsed and pensioners still wait months for stipends. Across social media, reactions have been fierce. Some Nigerians expressed anger that after decades of waste, leaders still have no shame in hiding public spending. Others responded with sarcasm, memes of politicians swimming in cash or sipping champagne from subsidy savings. But beneath the humor lies fatigue. Nigerians have grown weary of endless circles of exposure without consequence. How can 14 trillion naira just vanish into thin air? One user asked on X. Another quipped, if 14 trillion naira disappeared in a developed country, 10 presidents would resign. The public mood is one of disbelief, not because the allegation sounds impossible, but because it sounds too familiar. While Wike dominates the headlines, SERAP's letter is addressed to all 36 governors. It's a reminder that the problem is not just about one man, it's systemic. In some states, governors have used the post-subsidy funds to announce cosmetic projects, road patching, ribbon cuttings, and commissioning ceremonies, but few have released verifiable financial breakdowns. And therein lies the crux. Accountability isn't a personality issue, it's a governance issue. SERAP's next move will be crucial. If the governors and Wike ignore the FOI requests, the organization can file lawsuits compelling disclosure. But beyond legalities lies a moral dilemma. What happens when public officials simply choose silence? Nigeria's anti-graft agencies, EFCC and ICPC, often swing into action when scandals break, but rarely pursue full convictions involving serving politicians. The fear of political interference or selective prosecution looms large. So again, the question lingers, will anyone ever truly be held accountable? If there's one thing observers agree on, it's that Nyesom Wike is not an easy man to corner. He has survived political storms that would have buried others, from his clashes with the PDP hierarchy to his fiery defiance within Tinubu's cabinet to his supporters. Wike is a performer who gets things done no matter how controversial his methods. To critics, he's the embodiment of Nigeria's impunity problem, untouchable, unbothered, and unrepentant. But even the most resilient politician cannot outrun public opinion forever. The most haunting part of SERAP's revolution is not the money itself, it's what it represents. 14 trillion naira could have built 100 new teaching hospitals, 200,000 affordable homes, or 10,000 kilometers of road. It could have revived industries, empowered youth, or subsidized food production in a country where hunger is now a daily battle. Instead, Nigerians are left asking the same painful question: why does nothing change, no matter how much we spend? SERAP's demand is more than a legal petition, it's a moral test for Nigeria's leadership class. Will the governors and the FCT Minister rise to the occasion and publish detailed spending reports, or will this, like many before it, fade into another headline, another scandal, another forgotten outrage? At the heart of it all is a simple truth: transparency is not a favor, it's a duty. And as long as 14 trillion naira remains unaccounted for, Nigeria's leaders owe their citizens not just explanations, but justice. If 14 trillion naira can disappear without trace, what hope is left for the future? That question is not just from Wike or the governors, it's for all of us.
The music, when we're in the trenches.
Yes.
When we're in the trenches.
Yes.
Come on,